Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Thanks for joining me. There is a very, very good featherweight contest on at the weekend. So that'll be March the 4th between Mark Magsayo and Brandon Figueroa. Now, before we get into the fight itself, this Magsayo-Figueroa fight is for the WBC Interim World Featherweight title. Why do we need an interim title fight? This is a very good fight, a very good matchup. But why do we need a WBC Interim World title when O'Shaquie Foster very recently defeated Ray Vargas for the WBC Featherweight title? Well, it's a rhetorical question, isn't it? Because the reason we need another meaningless title on the line is because of the WBC raking in the money. They get the old sanctioning fees, so they put a belt on the line, and it's the usual nonsense. But anyway, push aside all that crud, okay? Because Magsayo and Figueroa is a very, very good matchup. Both are essentially coming off defeats because Magsayo lost to, as I said, lost to Ray Vargas, lost a split decision. That was in July of last year, I think. Very good fight. I think Vargas, he actually had Vargas on the floor in the 8th or the 9th. Figueroa, that was his last fight, by the way, against Vargas. And like I say, Vargas went on to lose the title to Foster. So we've got this sort of round robin going on with the real quote-unquote WBC title. Figueroa, his last fight was a victory against Carlos Castro in 6 rounds. Castro came in with a 27-1 record. I don't know whether that flattered him or not. I can't remember that fight. I'm sure I saw it, but I can't remember anything about it. But I think he basically exposed Castro, and I think I'm right in saying Castro has lost again since then. But prior to that, Figueroa lost to the excellent Stephen Fulton, and that was for the super bantamweight title. I think it was for 2 of them, WBC and the WBO. But Fulton is an excellent fighter. I mean, he'll be taking on Anaya Inoue, which is a fantastic fight. The undisputed, bantamweight champ coming up to fight probably the best 122-pounder. But Fulton did outpoint Figueroa, and Figueroa lost his unbeaten record. He's now 23 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and 18 KOs. So very, very good record. Magsayo, the defeat against Vargas is his only defeat. He's 24 wins and 1 defeat and 16 KOs. So these are very, very well matched. And orthodox fighter Magsayo from the Philippines, 27 years of age. Figueroa, I think he's a southpaw, 26 years old from the US, 5'8", I think he is. So physically, they're very well matched. One's a southpaw, mostly southpaw, and Figueroa mostly fights southpaw. Magsayo is definitely orthodox. And their styles are not too dissimilar. They're both what you might call boxer punchers, box fighters perhaps. Both got good skills. In the case of Magsayo, he has power in both hands, likes the right hand, but I think probably his favourite punch. And if you look at his career, I'm tempted to say his most successful, dangerous punch is his left hook. He can throw it a little bit wide, but when he keeps it nice and compact, it's a hell of a punch. Really good left hook. Can be a little bit flat-footed at times, goes a little bit inactive during some rounds, which I definitely think cost him the fight against Ray Vargas. But he's got to learn from that mistake, stay busy. Can be quite patient, likes to wait for the opportunities. Decent jab, perhaps doesn't use it enough. But when he gets into range, he can have a good old-fashioned punch-up with you. And he can really land some very good combinations. He switches from being a sort of one or two punch guy to when he gets in close and he suddenly wants to have a row with you. And that'll suit this fight. These styles are gelling very, very well because Figueroa, similar, very, very good offensive fighter, can jab very well. His feet are probably a bit quicker than Magsayo's, I would say. Decent jab, but likes to have a fight. He took the jab is basically the key to the door. He sort of, but he'll very often he'll throw a jab and then he'll follow it with a left hook, or it's not like he'll stand off and jab. Magsayo does that a bit more than Figueroa. Figueroa likes to get stuck in a bit more, and when he does get stuck in, he's very, very effective. He had that fantastic victory over Lewis Neary. And Lewis Neary is a tough guy. A really tough guy, Lewis Neary. I mean, very recently he scored a KO, 11-round KO over Azat Hovhannisyan, and who was wildly brave. I mean, to go and see that fight, it's a fantastic fight. It really is. And certainly the Lewis Neary fight with Figueroa, that is a phone booth war. A brilliant, brilliant fight. Figueroa won in 7 rounds from a left hook to the floating rib, I think it was. It put Neary down for the count. But both of them were getting stuck in, and both of them were swinging wild head punches. In the end, it was the body that undid it for Figueroa. He beat Neary, knocked him out in 7. But Neary is a warrior, real warrior, and that fight with Hovhannisyan, that might well turn out to be fight of the year. Getting back to Brandon Figueroa, I would say that he's probably busier than Magsayo. Again, Magsayo, that really cost Magsayo. The little periods of inactivity. I remember watching that fight against the fight. My mind's gone blank. Who was it again? Who am I talking about? Vargas, of course. Yeah, I'm getting confused. There's so many. That belt has changed hands so many times. That WBC belt, I have difficulty remembering who had it and who won it, and the sort of chain of events. But against Vargas, I think Magsayo suffered because of those periods of inactivity during a lot of the rounds, and lost some rounds that he perhaps could have won if he'd been a bit busier. Although Vargas himself is a very, very good fighter, and that was a split decision loss to Foster. So, these guys, this is what we want to see. We want to see the top guys in a division fighting each other. Don't matter if you lose. We're putting unbeaten records on the line. If you lose, you ain't going to lose by much. It's going to be competitive. You can move on, and that's why this is such an appealing fight, because you've got two guys who are kind of in their prime, coming off losses, so they feel they got something to lose. Just like Neary when he fought Hovhannisyan, he needed to come back from that knockout from Figueroa, and he did come back, scored his own knockout in 11 rounds, and yeah, this is so good to see evenly matched fights, and this is over in America, this fight, and it's interesting enough, it's a PBC fight. Now PBC have been under the cosh lately. People have been saying, well, it's falling apart, and they've spent all their war chests, so they haven't got the money, and their fighters don't fight enough. And most of those criticisms, I think, are valid. But in recent weeks, just over the last month, they promoted the Hovhannisyan Neary fight. There was another fight, I can't remember which one it was, but that was a fantastic main event. Or was that a Golden? Well, am I thinking of Golden Boy? I might be thinking of Golden Boy with that one. But anyway, PBC, if they're going to put on fights like this, they've still got a chance of staying in the game, I think. So who do I think is going to win? Well, I think this is, again, it's very evenly matched. I think both guys are tough. Magsayo, even though he knocked down Vargas in that fight, I'm sure he's been on the floor himself. I can't remember who it was against. He looks like he's got a good chin, but with Figueroa tends to, he works the body very well. Actually, both guys throw good body punches, but I just get the feeling that Figueroa might be a little bit busier and a little bit more powerful. And I just think that I don't say this with any great confidence, because when you got an even fight, you can see so many different permutations of how it could turn out. But I basically see Brandon Figueroa outworking Magsayo, having a little bit more power. The more eye-catching punches are probably going to be landed by Figueroa. I think the rounds will, for the most part, be very competitive. The decision, I think it will go the distance. I think it will be a points win for Figueroa. It might be a majority decision even. A draw, is that out of the question? Probably not. But I get the feeling, looking at both guys and their previous fights and their styles and putting it all together, I think Figueroa will probably win a decision, close-ish decision. but it'll be competitive and it'll be a good fight, and there'll be a lot of up close action. I don't think these guys' styles will cancel each other out. But what do you think? I mean, this is a really good fight. So what do you think? Tell me, give me your opinions below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, that would be fantastic. And also hit the like button if you like the video. We've got plenty of videos for you to see. Thanks for your time as always. Looking forward to this one a lot. Leave your comments below and I'll answer them. And take care for now. Bye.